Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another chapter of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That. And today we will be looking at chapter 16, which is titled Desirelessness, the Highest Bliss. I have met many realized people, but never a liberated man. Have you come across a liberated man? Or does liberation mean, among other things, also abandoning the body? What do you mean by liberation and realization? By realization, I mean a wonderful experience of peace, goodness, and beauty, when the world makes sense and there is an all-pervading unity of both substance and essence. While such experience does not last, it cannot be forgotten. It shines in the mind both as memory and longing. I know what I am talking about, for I've had such experiences. By liberation, I mean to be permanently in that wonderful state. What I am asking is whether liberation is compatible with the survival of the body. What is wrong with the body? The body is so weak and short-lived. It creates needs and cravings. It limits one grievously. So what? Let the physical expressions be limited. But liberation is of the self from its false and self-imposed ideas. It is not contained in some particular experience, however glorious. Does it last forever? All experience is time-bound. Whatever has a beginning must have an end. So liberation, in my sense of the word, does not exist. On the contrary, one is always free. You are both conscious and free to be conscious. Nobody can take this away from you. Do you ever know yourself non-existing or unconscious? I may not remember, but that does not disprove my being occasionally unconscious. Why not turn away from the experience to the experiencer and realize the full import of the only true statement you can make? I am. How is it done? There is no how here. Just keep in the mind the feeling I am. Merge in it till your mind and feeling become one. By repeated attempts, you will stumble on the right balance of attention and affection, and your mind will be firmly established in the thought feeling I am. Whatever you think, say, or do, this sense of immutable and affectionate being remains as the ever-present background of the mind. And you call it liberation? I call it normal. What is wrong with being, knowing, and acting effortlessly and happily? Why consider it so unusual as to expect the immediate destruction of the body? What is wrong with the body that it should die? Correct your attitude to your body and leave it alone. Don't pamper, don't torture. Just keep it going, most of the time below the threshold of conscious attention. The memory of my wonderful experiences haunts me. I want them back. Because you want them back, you cannot have them. The state of craving for anything blocks all deeper experience. Nothing of value can happen to a mind which knows exactly what it wants. For nothing the mind can visualize and want is of much value. Then what is worth wanting? Want the best, the highest happiness, the greatest freedom. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. Want the best, the highest happiness, the greatest freedom. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. I must be lacking energy. What happened to your energy? Where did it go? Did you not scatter it over so many contradictory desires and pursuits? You don't have an infinite supply of energy. Why not? Your aims are small and low. They do not call for more. Only God's energy is infinite because he wants nothing for himself. Be like him, and all your desires will be fulfilled. The higher your aims, the vaster your desires, the more energy you will have for their fulfillment. Desire the good of all, and the universe will work with you. But if you want your own pleasure, you must earn it the hard way. Before desiring, deserve. Before desiring, deserve. Your aims are small and low. They do not call for more. Only God's energy is infinite because he wants nothing for himself. God wants nothing for himself. God wants nothing for himself. The sun is shining and the sun wants nothing for itself. The tree is offering shade and it wants nothing for itself. When you are selfless, when you are without self, ego, limitation, your energy is infinite. When you want what God wants, when you want to heal and love and serve, then energy is unending. The entire universe comes together to support you in your endeavors. Desire is not bad. I don't hear Nisargadatta saying desires are bad. In fact, he said, what's wrong with the body? Let the body be. The body is the perfect expression of oneness. Let the mind, the so-called mind, there is no mind in reality, but allow these desires and fears, allow them to be, allow them to come. I never hear Nisargadatta saying anything about repression or forcing something. Actually, Nisargadatta, I'm told, is translated as being Mr. Natural. So Nisarga yoga is the natural yoga. Everything about his approach and his philosophy, his teaching, is about being natural, being yourself, being what you cannot not be. He said the only spiritual practice, the only spiritual goal you have is just to be. And you are. You are being all the time. You are being all the time. Near the beginning, He says, do you ever know yourself non-existing or unconscious? Do you ever know yourself non-existing or unconscious? Now, when you're asleep, you're not there to know yourself as unconscious. So as long as, the body wakes up in the morning, it's aware. It's aware that it exists. It's aware that you are. It is conscious, aware, alive. And of course, that intelligence, that mysterious power is present and experienced. There is no how. There is no how. How implies like a method, like steps. First do this, then do that. After that, do this, then do that. Like there's a long list of spiritual practices or things to do. But this isn't about doing. This is about being. He says, just keep in mind the feeling, not just the thought, but the feeling, I am. Merge in that feeling of I amness till your mind and feeling become one. By repeated attempts, you will stumble on the right balance of attention and affection, of awareness and love. And your mind will be firmly established in the thought, feeling, I am. Whatever you think, say, or do, this sense of immutable and affectionate being remains as the ever-present background of the mind. At one point, Nisargadatta says, everything becomes lovable. Everything becomes lovable. Everything becomes one. And because everything is one, everything is loved and perceived as lovable. I am reminded of what Tony Parsons says. He says, there aren't any enlightened people. It would be an oxymoron. Enlightened person, those two things can't coexist. When so-called liberation happens, what is seen is that there never was a person. Liberation is the end of something that was never apparently happening. But while it appears to be happening, it feels pretty real. This energetic contraction, this feeling of limitation. But maybe that's why it's important that Nisargadatta says, is there ever a time when you experience yourself as non-existing or unconscious? No, this ever-present awareness, beingness, is always present. The Supreme, he said in the chapter yesterday or the day before, the Supreme is both awareness and being. Awareness and being. Being is the constant. Everything else is appearing and disappearing, coming and going, and therefore is unreal. Stay with what you know, I am. Not I am this or I am that, but simply I am. Notice how awareness is always present. Awareness doesn't need to be turned on. Awareness doesn't need to be sought after, because what would do the seeking? It would be awareness. Awareness is always and already aware. Awareness is always and already aware. Awareness and beingness are always and already the case. once that clicks, is seen, perceived, ah, yes, awareness is aware, I am, beingness is being, then truly there's nothing to do but to rest and marinate and merge deeper and deeper into that thought, feeling, experience, realization. And by marinating in that I am presence, the character of your being is transformed. Transformation happens. That which can be transformed. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. Desirelessness is the highest bliss. Soham. 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 Leave the world alone. You can't control the world, so leave it alone. Let it unfold the way it unfolds. Unperceived, it's simply not there. This is why when people feel called to God, called to something deeper, called to this process of self-inquiry or self-realization, it naturally happens, actually. There is less and less interest in the physical world, in the shallow world, shall we say, the egoic world, because more and more it is seen as being so empty, so unreal. And when you believe these unreal things, then it's also full of suffering. So at some point, what can happen is that the interest simply goes away. Of its own accord, it just disappears. One day you may just wake up and realize, oh, I'm not so interested in the things I used to be interested in. You may find yourself meditating more, spending more time in nature, doing more yoga or Tai Chi, gardening, just following the simple pleasures and desires of your heart, just desiring more silence and stillness, and just reflecting upon this I am, which is always present, this awareness, which is always aware, this beingness, which is the one consistent, no thing, resting, relaxing, marinating in the absolute supreme reality, the Parabrahman. Silence is always present. Stillness is always present. It can always be perceived. You don't have to create it or look for it. It's always here. Awareness is always here. Beingness is always here. So if you are a spiritual seeker, what is it that you are seeking? Spirit is always here. All there is spirit. God alone exists. God is the totality of consciousness. God is nothing appearing as everything. God is love. God is what is. God is this. So you are that which you are seeking. You are the spirit that you are seeking. It can't be far because it's what you are. It's always and already the case. This is already oneness. This is already the Pada Brahman, the absolute supreme reality. So simply rest, relax, and enjoy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nisargadatta Maharaj. Thank you again. I don't know if you can hear this music, but it's intoxicating in the best of ways. I meditate to it pretty much every morning now. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Namaste Namaste Namaste.